Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. Today I thought I would do the rapid fire book tag, which was originally created by Girl Reading. I will link her original video down below. And I was very kindly tagged by Madeline from MadeWithBooks. So I thought I would do this tag because the question sounds really cool. The idea is that you respond to very short questions, usually where you have only two possibilities, without thinking too much about it. So let's jump straight in. I have the questions written here, so I'm gonna go through them, and the first question is ebook or physical book. So I am definitely a physical book person. I've mentioned this before. I am trying to read more ebooks. I buy them if the physical book is a bit too expensive for my liking, or if I'm not sure that I even would like it so much, but usually I buy physical books. The second question is hardback or paperback, and I am a big paperback fan. I do like some very pretty hardback editions as physical objects, but I don't enjoy reading in them because they're just too heavy and bulky. The third question is online or in-store shopping. So I always try to buy things in store on my local bookshop if I can. There are possibilities, at least from some of the shops in my city, that you go onto their website, and if they don't have things in stock, at least you can order it and get it picked up from the local bookshop. Question number 4 is series or trilogies. So I think I'm gonna go with series because yeah, I do like some trilogies, but actually not that much when I think about it. And one thing that I sometimes don't like about trilogies is like the, how will I call this, like the second book problem. So that sometimes you have some kind of filler book, which is the second one usually, and I don't enjoy that so much. So if I would have to choose, I would definitely go for series. The next question is heroes or villains. I am a sucker for heroes. But I particularly like them if they're very flawed. And I think I do enjoy reading about flawed heroes more than about villains. Next up is a book that everyone should read, and for this one I chose Dear Ijeawele by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, which is a feminist manifesto in 15 suggestions. It's a very short book, but it is a great introduction to a lot of basic feminist theories, and it's just very accessible, and I think anyone could read it and anyone should read it. Next question is an underrated book, and I've never heard anyone talk about this book, and I think it deserves more attention, and it's a collection of short stories by Agatha Christie, which is called While the Light Lasts. These are stories that she wrote very late in her career, and some of these stories are very interesting to read because they're so different from what she was writing previously. Some of them are very dark and sarcastic, but stronger than like the underlying sarcasm that she has in her usual mysteries, and I thought that was really interesting, and I definitely want to read her autobiography at some point to try to piece together like her mindset and why she came to write stories like this. But there are some really great ones in there, some really weird ones, and I definitely recommend it to anyone who likes mystery and likes Agatha Christie. Okay, so next question is the last book I finished, and that is Normal People by Sally Rooney. I will probably make an extra video about the books I read in the month of March. I read this within the Irish Readathon, so I'll talk about it a bit more. Yeah, that's that one. And next question is the last book you bought, and that is Ghost Wall by Sarah Moss. Okay, next up is the weirdest thing that you have ever used as a bookmark. I really like using bookmarks, so usually I don't use any weird things for bookmarks. I think I remember at some point that I didn't have any bookmark handy, so I just grabbed a sock, but that's probably the most weird thing that I used as a bookmark. Next question is used books, yes or no? Yes, I really like secondhand books. I think that books should be passed over if you don't think of keeping them or you don't enjoy them that much. and I think they should have a new home with someone else who might enjoy it, so yes, definitely yes. Next up is my top 3 favorite genres, and that's literary fiction, mystery, and classics. Buy or borrow books. I usually buy books. I like to have them and to be able to read them at my whim. I do try to use my local library a bit, but yeah, I don't get everything that I would like there, so that's when I buy them. Then we have characters or plots, and I think I prefer character-driven books. It's just more interesting to learn about the perspective of some other people, some other ways of life, and plot can be quite entertaining, and sometimes I need that, but I would definitely go for characters over plot. Next up we have short or long books, and I think I'm a short book person. For me, probably the optimal page length is something between 250 and 350 pages. These are lengths that I like, and I think it's enough space to say what you want to say, and that's the books also that I pick up the most, and I'm more reluctant to pick up longer books than that. Then we have short chapters or long chapters. I don't think I want to choose any of these two options for this question. I think anything that serves the purpose of the book is okay. So for more character-driven books, I think it makes sense to have very short chapters to keep you going. But I also do enjoy some books that don't have chapters at all, and it works. So I think it kind of depends what book. Next question is the first 3 books that come to your mind. Okay, so I should not think about the books that I just mentioned, so I'm thinking of How to Be German, which I don't remember the author. It's a little funny book about, I think, a British or American immigrant who talks about the very German things when he moved to Germany, and I thought that was really funny when I first came here. I really enjoyed this book. Then comes to my mind Melmoth by Sarah Perry, which I read, I think, end of last year, and I really enjoyed. And finally, the Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis, which is a little satirical book about the devil writing letters to a follower of his and how to basically screw up humanity. And I think it's very funny, but has also a lot of very deep topics within, if you know where to look and how to read them. Okay, books that make you cry or laugh, and I do enjoy funny books, but I think I tend to pick up more books that make me think or that are sad. I almost never physically cry reading a book, but I have a soft spot for sad stories. Next up we have stories set in our world or in a fictional world. And I just like stories from our world. I think there's enough to talk about, enough point of views that you wouldn't encounter in your normal life. And for me it's enough to just find out about everything that's going on in our world. Then we have audiobooks, yes or no, and I think yes. I am not super fan of audiobooks because I'm a very visual person, so I can absorb the story better if I really read the words on the page. But I think for some books and formats it does work, for nonfiction or for memoirs, things like this. So yeah, audiobooks, yes. Next up is, do you judge a book by its cover? I very rarely buy books just because I like the cover. I'm very careful about the books I buy, I think. So I inform myself about what it is about and who blurbed the book, who has recommended it before, if it's something that would appeal to me. So I very rarely buy books on a whim that I never heard of, which I guess, is also not so cool, because then you also prevent yourself from discovering a completely different book. But that's how I buy books, so I usually don't judge the book by its cover. When I do judge it is if I know I like a book and there are several editions out there and I want to decide which one to buy, then I totally go for the cover. Then we have a book to TV or book to movie adaptation. So I think I'm gonna go for book to TV miniseries adaptation, because I think there's more space to be truer to the original material, and I do like quite a lot of adaptations of classics. So yeah. The last question is, which book to TV or book to movie adaptation did you like more than the book? I must admit, I don't usually know when movies are adapted on a book. I usually see it much later. I don't watch that many movies based on books, to be honest. I don't watch many movies at all. But there was one TV adaptation from 2011 from the BBC of Great Expectations by Charles Dickens that I really, really like. And I have never finished Great Expectations. I somehow cannot get into it, so I cannot speak for the whole book, but at least from my experience of trying to read it, I did enjoy the adaptation more than the writing and the book itself. And the last question is standalone or series, and I am more of a standalone person. Alright, so that was all the questions. I didn't count how many there are, but it was a lot of fun, just not thinking too much about them. I did prepare the questions with the book recommendations because I didn't want to have to get up and go through my shelves. But I hope you enjoyed this tag, and the last thing I have to do now is to tag more people to do it. So I will tag Amanda Reads, Pull Down the Moon, and The Hungry Bookworm. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments below what are your answers to some of these questions. If you're new here, hi, nice to see you. If you like this video, please subscribe, and until next time, bye!